Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I am Peter Mansberg, and this is the CBC. Today, January 18th, 1993, we're gathered here with Canada's Defence Minister, Kim Campbell. Campbell was first elected to the House of Commons in November 1988 as a Conservative. She served as the Minister of State for Indian Affairs and Northern Diplomat in 1989. As Minister of Justice and Attorney General from 1990 to 1920, she introduced reform legislation on a number of issues, and Prime Minister Brian Mulroney has recently appointed her to be the head of defense and to take control of the situation in Somalia. Canada has a long participation in international peace efforts, and with the recent events that have occurred in Somalia, it is easy to say that Canada will have an important role. Canada, as well as 20 other countries, have all agreed upon sending approximately 28,000 troops to Somalia to try and calm and reduce the amount of tension between the tribes. In Somalia, throughout the country, there are hundreds of different military tribes that cripple the land of its freedom and peace. Lately, the tribes have gone more and more destructive and put the country into civil war. I'm sorry, but now I'd like to open the room to the reporters. But I'm sorry that Miss Campbell cannot attend this meeting and her close secretary will be taking her place. He has been alongside Miss Campbell for all of her political life and has helped her through many political situations. Now I'd like to open up to the reporters. Yes, you there on the right.
Hello, thank you, Peter. Hello, Mr. Secretary. I have two questions for you.
Hello, please go on.
How does it feel to be recently appointed as the Minister of Defense by Prime Minister Mulroney? And are there any pressures of being placed right into the problems of Somalia?
Well, to recently appointed as the Minister of Defense Secretary, obviously it is a great achievement, but this also comes with a lot of pressure and sleepless nights. But in all seriousness, being chosen by one of the greatest prime ministers, I'm very grateful. With respect to Canada's involvement with Somalia, it's a tough job, but help is needed. All the people in Somalia need us to go in and help with the relief. Us and 20 other countries are sending troops to create a powerful and ordered country.
Thank you.
No problem.
Yes, and thank you. Next question. Yes, you on the left.
With the recent upload of pictures taken by Canadian troops, did you know that they had been torturing people?
Oh my god. I've never seen something so obscene like this. This is terrible, and this I will not stand for. I'm sorry, I've never seen anything like this before. I give my regards to that poor child's parents, and this will never happen again. I don't know how the people can live with themselves. This is outrageous. I'm sorry for this outburst.
That's fine. I don't think there are any human beings on Earth that wouldn't react the same.
Yeah, I agree. Yes, you sir on the right.
Yes. How do you plan to resolve this problem?
Well, we will definitely put out those troops and put them on trial. For these acts of war cannot be tolerated.
What are the casualties?
Well, most people think there isn't any war going on while the peacekeepers are there, but in reality there are lots of firefights and brutal guerrilla warfare. Approximately 300 Somalians were killed, and about 28,000 UN were sent, and approximately 150 UN representatives have died.
How the Canadian soldiers showed the bravery, and were they any heroes?
Canadian members in Somalia face much violence and chaos. Peace supports forces often face great danger with even greater acts of valor. Canada's Sea King helicopter crews took part in reconnaissance and intelligence gathering activities, frequently coming under fire while doing so. They performed many medical evacuations. Some heroes were examples of Naval Lieutenant Heather McKinnell, did much to help the Somalians during the UN operations there. She operated a medical clinic and worked in a hospital and orphanage to help victims of the war and famine in Mogadishu, despite the continued risks of working in a war zone.
I have a question myself. What were some sacrifices?
The peace support missions in Somalia were particularly difficult ones for the Canadian Forces members serving on the scene, as in the end, they could have a limited impact on the great forces swirling around. Somalia was a lawless war zone, and peace support troops had to engage in firefights to try and fulfill some of its mission. The risks in serving in some of these areas, like Somalia, from hostile fire, landmines, and driving accidents, to exotic disasters like poisonous wildlife and harsh, long-lasting psychological effects of serving under such armistice conditions. During the peace efforts in Somalia, one of the Canadian forces lost his life.
With regards to these events, do you think Canada should stay and help the Somalia, and what is the importance of Canada if they do stay?
Of course, I think that Canada should stay in Somalia and try to help the citizens of Somalia because they don't deserve to stay in a war-torn area with constant war. The children don't deserve this, to be in constant fear of invading tribes. It is important for Canada to help because we have an important role as being peacekeepers.
Okay, thank you. And are there any more questions? All right, and thank you everybody for watching on the TV, and have a good night.